Hello, everyone. It's Roger Michalski, the publisher of Eagle Financial Publications, and I'm with the George Gilder team again today. And I'm telling you, I've been talking to these guys, and this might be the most exciting thing that I'm really excited about, with Gilder coming to Eagle, because this is a product unlike any we've ever had at Eagle. And it's something I've always really kind of, really wanted to do, never found the right team to do it. This is the team to do it. It's Gilder's Private Reserve, and I hope you can feel my excitement because I've been wanting to do something like this for so long. Couldn't find the right people, found the right people. So, Richard, kick us off and tell us a little bit about Private Reserve.
Okay, I just have to share this personally first. I've been collaborating with George for 40 years, then some other things in between, partnered a hedge fund, da 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 da. This is the most exciting project I've ever worked on with George. It's going to be the most profitable for investors. It's going to be also just beautiful. And I'll give you an example from George's past that shows how valuable this product is going to be. In the mid 80s, George wrote a book called The Spirit of Enterprise, which I think is his most enjoyable book to read. And The Spirit of Enterprise is a story, is the collection of stories of early stage entrepreneurs that George felt were going to do breakthrough things. And so it's a beautiful book because it's adventurous and it's exciting. But here's the thing. He was right. We weren't doing a financial newsletter at the time, but every one of the entrepreneurs that he profiled in that book went on to tremendous success. And those now, some of them had rough times, but overwhelmingly, those predictions were right. So what if, instead of referring you to a 1986 book, what if we could do Spirit of Enterprise live? Right? In real time. That's what we're doing. We're doing Spirit of Enterprise live in real time. We're going to exciting startups, a lot of it in Israel, some of it here, some of it in England. We're working with geniuses, right? We're finding out from geniuses where the technology is going. And then we're talking about their companies. And I don't know if I'm allowed to say this, Roger, but George ran a hedge fund. It's closed now, but it's still, the fund still exists, but it's not open to investors. And some of his picks were 1,000x payoffs, right? And because he got in early, and also this is just George at his best, because when a company gets big, a lot of things affect its future and its fate. But a technology startup, 100% of its future is leveraged to the quality of the technology and whether the technology is going in the right direction. And if you have George plus his team guiding you on that, you're just going to make money. Is that allowed to, I'm allowed to say that?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean,
it's risky.
We also can't guarantee it, but
right. And it's risky. It is risky, but our job is to de-risk it for the subscriber and do the due diligence. And the guys that invest in this, subscribe to this, are gonna do their own homework too. But we're gonna hopefully get them in, backstage pass, front row seat, whatever. And tee this up, and for them to be able to really evaluate it in the proper light, right, from a thematic point of view, and bring them things that they probably wouldn't have known about.
I'm going to ask Steve and John each to talk a little about some of the most exciting trends, and in some cases, they're trends that started 20 years ago, went through the hype cycle, but now they're real. Steve, talk a little bit about the promise of 2D nano materials.
Right. So Roger, you probably remember this, but back in 2012, there was this tremendous surge of interest in this material called graphene, right? And they called it the wonder material. And I've been doing nanotechnology research and development for well over a decade before that. And we were getting inundated. I was part of a nonprofit organization in nanotechnology based in Washington, and we were getting inundated with graphene stuff. So I decided with my couple of partners to spin out this nonprofit called the Graphene Stakeholders Association to develop standards, characterization, kind of help people understand, give them the tools to really develop this incredible material. Right, one of the most incredible materials ever discovered, and it turned out, Roger, that most of the companies that were coming to us couldn't do what they said they could do. They couldn't really make the material, and I had George speak at one of our events, and George was really excited about this and saw tremendous potential with nanocarbon material, which really could give us powerful AI, much more powerful than silicon-based AI. I mean, we are carbon bipeds, right? That's what Arthur C. Clarke used to call us, right? I mean, we're primarily carbon beings, and carbon has some incredible attributes, but we need this material to be able to make it cheaply and at scale. Well, in 2020, there was a development in Houston at Rice University by a guy named Professor James Tour. And he and his students in his labs discovered how to manufacture high quality graphene at a low cost using what they call a flash process. And they can use trash, Roger. They can take your garbage and turn it into incredibly valuable graphene. Well, lo and behold, a couple of years later, working with an Israeli VC who we're very close with and work very closely with, we've got 12 companies now that are doing incredible things around graphene. And while we've been through the hype cycle, as Richard pointed out, right, we're now in like the valley of death, and everybody's kind of written off this material. Well, let me tell you, the next 20 years are going to be some of the most exciting times that we've ever seen. And it reminds us of what we saw back in Silicon Valley in the 80s, right? And the potential, we call it the nanocosm, right? So we've got a new cosm, and this great parent, this private reserve product is going to mine the cosm, the nanocosm. And if you come to George's conference, the COSM conference in Bellevue in November, you'll hear more about it. You'll hear about the companies, but we're going to write a lot about this. And this is just one aspect of the private reserve. John can talk about some of the other stuff we're going to be working with, but this is why we're excited about it, because we're on the cutting edge of some incredibly powerful companies that are going to rise up and become, the next Microsoft and Apples and Googles of the future. And you can get invested in them now, before they're, worth billions.
That's the time to get in. All right, John, why don't you pick it up from there?
Yeah, I think what makes working with this team so enjoyable and inspiring is that we're not merely analysts, right? We actually get our hands dirty with this stuff. We go deep. And that is what enables us to evaluate the impact of these technologies. Are they intersecting on the right trajectories for the right convergences? Will the results be exponential? And if it is truly exponential and has value, then it'll be transformative. And the earlier you can identify those things, the better. And what gives us just yet another advantage is that in this process, we actually engage deeply with the leaders of these companies themselves. With the founders, with the entrepreneurs, from their very early stages to this potentially exponential growth. And so, like I say, it's not something that we're doing from afar or arm's length. We dig up our sleeves, we get our hands dirty, and we actually get to know these people. And so, and then when we combine that with our other methodologies to vet these opportunities, it's a pretty powerful combination. And I'll tell you, when we look at the results, it just makes it all the more fun.
Yeah. And I think what we're doing, Richard, is we're gonna bring at least 4 of these ideas to subscribers a year. That's the plan.
We're going to do at least 4, but the thing is, I said 4 because I didn't want to overpromise. But you and John come up with so many great companies that we might have to do a lot more than 4. But we're gonna publish every month because these companies need to be. We're not going to ask people to make substantial investments in pre-public companies until we explain them very well. So you're going to get ongoing coverage of the developments of these companies, perhaps at certain times when they're not even open for investment. So you're going to know what you're doing, right? Now, it's startup, it's pre-IPO. Some of these companies will go to 0, but some of them will go to 100x, right? And that's why the average return, the toss the dart return from venture capital investing is more than 3 times the annual return on the New York Stock Exchange, right? So you've got to do it portfolio based. You've got to do more than one. You're going to get some zeros, but you're going to get some great payoffs. And it's just going to be so much fun to know. I mean, you're going to have so much fun reading this pub, and we're going to have so much fun writing it. Right?
Yeah. We talk about, I mean, I've worked a lot with high net worth investors over the year, and they love, to talk at the cocktail parties about, what they read in the Gilder newsletter and talk to their friends about it. And like, I heard about this company, based out of Houston that's doing turbostratic graphene, and they're going to put it in cement, they're going to put it in tires, and they're going to put it in, everything. And it's going to be transformative. And their friends are going, wow, this guy is really sharp. Maybe I should subscribe to the Gilder newsletter, right? Yeah. Good idea.
One thing, I love that why we're going to be such a great team together. Some of what you just said, it's the education, and those who have seen me on, lots of other Eagle things, I say this over and over again because it's so true. My vision is for everybody to be better educated, because if you're better educated, you're going to be a better investor. We want you to be a better investor so you make more money. And if you are better educated and make more money, you're going to keep buying our products because we helped you get that way. And it's a win-win for everybody. So that's truly, deep within my heart, that's one of my goals of Eagle Financial Publications. So, and this product, like I said, these startups, like Richard said, some aren't going to work out. Some are just going to go to the moon, right? And they're going to be incredible. But you're going to have a better percent chance with the research that these guys are doing. They're as we're taping this today, in a few weeks, they're all going to Israel to look at many companies, and George has some unbelievable contacts there. So you're going to get the best of the best that you will not, trust me, you will not find this anywhere else. So this is why I'm so excited about Private Reserve. And so click the subscribe now button below this video to subscribe now. We, got a, great offer to kick off the relationship with Eagle and George Gilder and his team. Private Reserve, this is hasn't been offered before. This is something, as we were all talking, we were like, we have to do this. This is just so exciting. Something George hasn't done, something Eagle hasn't done. So get in on the ground floor of this, as well as all these companies, and hit the subscribe button now to become a member of Private Reserve. Guys, thank you so much for discussing Private Reserve with us today, and the several videos we've done over that everybody's been watching over the last few days. Welcome to Eagle, and I wish everyone a very profitable day, and click that button now to subscribe to Private Reserve.